Ball is life, buddy.
Oh, well, first of all, as a guy who plays basketball in Lululemon shorts, I support anyone who wears full-on yoga pants to play basketball. Secondly, Michael Beasley just one of my favorite players. We didn't get a chance to see him in the bubble, even though the Nets signed him because he came down with a case of COVID. But now he's back, he's looking healthy, and I think Sean Marks will sign him. And he instituted something brand new. It's not trash talking. He's trash yelling to John Wall, and it's very heady because we recently saw that if you talk to John Wall, he can still play cards and do two things at once. So Michael Beasley's like, man, trash talking won't work. I got to trash yell to get his attention. Savvy move. It should get him a spot on the Nets.
Nick, that gym is right around the corner from my house. I think I'm going to go join that pickup game.
Oh, that's a great game. And by the way, you could help the Nets next year more than Michael Beasley. Sorry, Wilds. Let's talk NBA draft for a moment. So it's November 18th. Once upon a time, Warriors fans, light years season, we're talking about trading the #2 pick and a package for Giannis. Then it was clear that couldn't happen. So they're like, what about in a package for Bradley Beal? And then they realized that ain't going to happen either. So now they're actually going to have to make the pick. And have you seen who our friends in the mock draft world, whether it's Kevin O'Connor or Ethan Sherwood-Strauss, are saying the Warriors are really into? Not necessarily James Wiseman. Anthony Edwards ain't going to be there. LaMelo Ball they don't want. How about this fella out of Israel? Deni Avdija. Now, in his defense, he did give you 4 points a game in EuroLeague last year. 4. And I know that said 7. Oh, look at this. So, Warriors fans, I know you are very excited for your return to greatness. I think you need to become more excited with mock drafts, with prospects, and with what
I mean, there wasn't a lot of time, but we said, hey, there's enough time. There's enough time. We got to just keep believing and just take it one play at a time. Obviously, we were in turbo on the ball, 2-minute mode the rest of the game. But, I mean, the same thing that I echo every game when we're down. Hey, just keep believing, just one play at a time, and the big play is going to hit. It's going to happen, and John had the big one on that first drive, and obviously Boston the second drive. And guys just keep believing and keep rallying together, and that's what it's going to take to win a lot of these ball games.
All right, Brandon, you look at last night's game. Was it more about the Eagles coming back or the New York Giants blowing it?
Definitely about the Eagles coming back. I love watching Carson Wentz last night. It was one of those games where you tune in and you're like, look at this division. We've been crushing this division. It's the worst division in history of sports. And then you look at the records like, is this going to be a good game? I really enjoyed the game. There were so many storylines. I was thinking about, wow, now is this going to turn into a three-team division race? Now, if the Giants win, are we going to be talking about the Giants potentially winning division? You got Carson Wentz playing lights out at times. I thought as his playmakers made plays, he got better. He overcame the offensive line play. You finally saw those young wide receivers step up and make some key plays down the stretch. And then on the other side, there was some of the Giants blowing it, of course. Evan Ingram, he got to step up and be the guy that they drafted him to be. He can easily be a premier tight end in this league, but in those big moments, he plays little. So I enjoyed watching the game, Nick. There were so many storylines. I don't know about you, but I was like, man, is this going to turn into a three-team race now? But it didn't. Evan Ingram
will be the guy they drafted him to be when he's a Patriot next year after they get him for a conditional 7th-round pick and he turns his career around. This game was more about the Eagles because, let's be honest, every game the Giants play is going to either be wholly irrelevant or only relevant because of their opponent. The next time the Giants are a competitive team, they will have a new general manager and a new quarterback. I don't know if they'll have a new coach or not. But the Giants don't, for all intents and purposes, matter in the 2020 football season. The reason the Eagles matter a little bit is because this year, while it's still going to be something of a lost year, whether they win the division or not, is going to be a hinge year for Carson Wentz. And last night was a great example of it. He did make some great plays. That pass to Boston Scott was a 10 out of 10.
Perfect.
It was absolutely elite. That is a perfect pass in any situation, much less the situation where they were in, which was, if you weren't watching the game, they had a 1st and goal from the 2. Kelsey gets a face mask penalty to where all of a sudden it's a 1st and goal from the 17, and they only have 40 seconds. So time, score situation, and degree of difficulty of pass, that's perfect. But in the same game, Carson also threw a horrifying interception inexplicably that took points off the board for Philly. And so what I'm interested in with Philadelphia Wilds is, who is the real Carson Wentz? Last night we didn't get an answer, but you saw kind of the good and the bad of him. So to me, this was more about Philadelphia preventing their season from going totally off the rails, and Wentz having a nice rallying moment like he almost had last week against Baltimore, by the way, when they were down 16, almost came all the way back, and see if they can salvage something from this season.
Nick, you know that flight that Captain Sully landed in the East River?
Yeah.
No, Hudson River. Got my rivers confused.
Yeah.
That's what that game reminded me of. If you got off that flight and someone asked you, like, hey, how was it? Like, well, I'll be honest with you, it ended really well, but it was a little hairy there. It wasn't fantastic. Carson Wentz had one play, and if we can run it, Katanik, and I'll quote you what Troy Aikman said while watching this play on the replay. All of you young quarterbacks watching on your couch, don't do this. You will not finish the game as the quarterback. So then I started to think, man, we're getting close to Jalen Hurts time here. This is insane. Shortly after this, he threw his league-leading 10th interception, and next thing you know, he wins the game. So this guy, Brandon, you may have liked the roller coaster. I don't think Eagles fans do. I think Carson Wentz needs to believe in himself a little less. Just do normal stuff, dude. Stop watching Mahomes highlights.
Absolutely.
Well,
I mean, it's 1st and 10. I can see if the game was on the line.
Right. Yeah, absolutely right.
All right, so we discussed Carson Wentz. I'd be remiss if I didn't discuss the opposing quarterback, Daniel Jones, and the play we're all talking about this morning. Daniel Jones taken off in the 3rd, nothing but green grass in front of him. Watch out, buddy. Watch out for literally nothing. Danny Dimes trips up just shy the goal line. He got 80 yards. The guy needed 88 for the touchdown. Patrick Mahomes chimed in with this tweet. I mean, I can't even say anything because I would never be able to run that far either. Brandon, was Daniel Jones' 80-yard run a highlight or a low light?
It's definitely a low light, but I'm like Patrick Mahomes. I would never be in this position. This was not my game. And I think that's probably why he fell, because when you get an open field, the only thing you think about is, wow, that guy on the other side that we were scouting, he ran a 4.25. This guy ran a 4.3. He's going to come get me. It's just unfamiliar territory for guys like him, even myself.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it just freaks you out when you're in open space. I actually did this in like Monday Night Football against the Jets. Cromartie chasing me and I just tripped. I can get it. I understand it.
Nick, I'm going with both. I'm calling it a highlight, low light, maybe, or a high, low light. It's 3 other ones to think about in your category. One, when Ja Morant misses a dunk. Those amazing missed Ja Morant's on highlight, low light. 2, old Kansas City, Bo Jackson strikes out, breaks the bat over his